Yo, what is good, everybody? Welcome back, bro. Um, Back at it with another story because I still don't know what kind of content I'm really wanting to do. So I'm just, I need something to force myself to make content. I'm trying to lock in, upload every day for the next 365 days. That's my goal. So, anyways, back at it with another story time. I hope you guys enjoy. If you do, make sure to leave a like, comment, subscribe. Check out the links in the description, my Twitch and my TikTok. I go live on those every day. Yeah, I hope you guys enjoy the video. Um, yeah. All right, guys. So I'm back at it with another story, as I said previously. But I want to start this story off by saying don't do anything that is mentioned in this story. Especially if you are under the age of 18. I do not condone the use of marijuana in any form. I just want to start by saying that. So, with that being said, we can get into the story. So, today's story is about the first time I quote unquote greened out. Okay. Now, most people, by green out standards, by what most people consider a green out, I did not green out. Okay. But this is the closest I've ever come to it. And you know, I, I needed a story to tell today. So, yeah, let's get into it. So this story time takes place a couple years ago. I'd say it was probably around the same time as the last story, maybe a year later or so. And it takes place with actually the same friend from the previous story. We're gonna give him the same name so I don't forget, Craig, okay? And so the way this story starts out is I'm at school one day, and I'm doing my school shit, and then the school day gets out and I'm on the school bus. Now, the school day isn't important. That's why I didn't go into detail on like the school day and shit. But the bus ride home is kind of important because me and Craig, we lived a couple streets away in the same neighborhood. So we would ride the same school bus. And so it was on the school bus that, I got on the school bus. Craig was already on the school bus. And, I go sit down near him. I'm like, what's up, bro? How you doing? He's like, what's up, man? Doing good. How about you? And I'm like, chilling. And so I just wanted to say this. It was Friday for, to like, for later, it'll make sense, but it's Friday. And so he looks at me. He's like, you want to hang out later? I'm like, yeah, fuck it. Why not? Because like, I'm going to be honest, back then, still, I don't got many friends, and I don't think that's an issue because the few friends that I do got, they're close friends. So I just, even back then, I honestly had less friends than I do now because I'm a socially awkward dude. But, and so, yeah, and I'm like, yeah, fuck it. I don't got no one else to hang out with, nothing else to do. Yeah, I'll come hang out. And so I get home, I do like my chores, homework, or anything that I had. And I go to my mom and I'm like, Mom, I'm gonna go hang out with Craig. And she's like, all right. And so I just want to start by saying this. My mom did not like Craig. She tolerated him because me and, some of my other siblings were friends with him. But she did not like Craig um, at all because he wasn't the best influence and she knew that. And so did we, but, we liked hanging out with him. And so I'm like, all right, I'll see you later. I'm going to go hang out with Craig. And she's like, all right, be safe. And so I depart and I go to Craig's house. And like I said, Craig's house is only a couple streets away. So I hop on my bike, pedal my ass over there, walk up in the crib, and I'm just like, yo, what up, everybody? I say what up to Craig's brothers, which I'm friends with them now, but back then I wasn't really as close of friends with them. It was more just, oh, that's my friend's brother. But now they're more like friends to me. And so I say what up to them. I, say what up to Craig's mom. Anybody else who's in the fucking house. I, say what up to the dogs, and then I go to Craig's room. And so upon entering Craig's room, I realize he's not even in there. And so I go back out to the living room and I'm like, yo, where's Craig at? And they're all like, oh yeah, he's out back. My bad. Should have told you that when you were out here earlier. I'm like, oh shit. All right. And so I, set my shit down in Craig's room already because, I'm hanging out there. And so then I go out back and, Craig's out there and he's like, oh shit, what up, dude? And so he's just kind of fucking around with his bikes because Craig, he would build bicycles, right? He would take like old bike parts and he would make new bikes out of them, right? He was really good at that. He still kind of does shit like that, but it's with, engines and shit. He builds mini bikes, four wheelers, shit like that. Anyways, I'm getting sidetracked. So I go out back. He's just tinkering with a bike, and he's like, "What's up, man?" I'm like, "What's up?" And he's just, "What you want to do?" And I'm like, "I don't know, but you trying to just go ride bikes, pop some wheelies, fuck around?" And he's like, "Hell yeah." Now, that's what we used to do back in the day. I say that like I'm old. I'm not that old. I'm not even 18 yet. All right. But, that's just what we would do. And we would just go right around the neighborhoods next to ours, and we would just ride bikes. And so that's what we did. We rode around, and we just kind of did nothing, just rode around, talked, had a great time. It was awesome. I miss doing that. I wish I could go back in time. If any of y'all in chat have a time machine or know somebody who does, hit me up on Discord, bro. I need that bitch. Anyways, back to the story. And so we're just riding around. He looks at me. He's like, "Yo, dude, trying to get some weed." And I'm like, "Fuck yeah, man." He's like, "All right, you got like 20 bucks you can put in, and I'll put in 20. We'll get some weed." And I'm like, "Hell yeah." And so we did that. I gave him 20 bucks. He already had 20 bucks. And then we hit up the plug, or his plug, and they hit back, and they're like, "Yeah, I got you, pull up to my crib." And their house was in the same neighborhood as ours. And so, it wasn't a very far ride, because we were really close to their house at that point, because we were just riding around the neighborhood. And so we're like, "All right, we'll be there in like 2 minutes, bro. We're just, riding around. We're close." And he's like, "All right, bet." And so we go to his house, and we get the weed. And so I want to say this. Nowadays, my mom's cool with it, right? She knows I do it. She's cool with it. But back then she did not, rightfully so. I was a little kid, bro. And I mean, honestly, I still don't really think I should be doing it now, but I do anyways. Um, I should stop probably. Which is exactly why I said I do not condone the use of it, especially if you're underage. Um, but yeah, and so we pull up to the plug's crib, and and I actually still know the plug to this day. Actually, the plug is dating uh one of Craig's brother. Uh, she's a chill person, bro. Um, and so we pull up, and we complete the transaction. We hang out for a minute, and then we dip. All right. So then after me and Craig did, we go back to the house, and we can't quite smoke it yet, cuz as I said, my mom did not support at all. Craig's mom, she did not care. She would not get it for him or help him get it in any way, but she was not going to stop him from, doing it, getting it and whatnot. But as I said, my mom did care. So if we were going to do that, we would have to convince her first to let me stay the night, which I'll admit was not very hard. Literally, all we had to do was we just asked her, and she's like, "Yeah, fuck it, whatever." I guess she just like didn't want to deal with me that night or some shit, and I don't know. It worked out. I mean, not really though, because I mean, kind of a traumatizing night in my opinion, bro. But like, not really at the same time, because it's kind of funny to look back on and be like, "Damn, bro." But yeah, anyways, and so literally that's all we did. We called up my mom. It's like, "Hey, it's hey mom, it's AJ." And she's like, "What?" And I'm like, could I possibly stay the night at Craig's house?" And she's like, "Yeah, sure, whatever. Update me, blah blah blah, and whatnot. Let me know if you go anywhere." And I'm like, "All right." And so we're like, "Damn, it was that easy," and it really was that easy. And so about at this time, it's probably I'd say about 8:30, 8 o'clock, 8:30, and so we're like, all right, let's smoke some of this. And so we bust out the bong. Okay, he had just gotten this thing too, right? And it was this huge fucking piece, bro. I'd say it was probably a good 2.5 feet tall, bro. That thing was massive, all right? And my little 12, 13 year old ass is like, "Damn, bro." He's like, "Yeah, bro, just got this shit in. I ain't even smoked out of it yet." I'm like, "Hell yeah." And so he loads it up. He's like, "You want the first hit?" And I'm like, "Nah, bro, that's all you." And he's like, "I." And so he takes his hit, bro, and then he passes it to me. And I'm just like, "Damn, this shit is about to fucking kill me." Because I had never hit a bong before. He had never owned a bong before. We always smoked out of some shitty little pipe or a fucking blunt or a joint. And now I had kind of smoked out of a gravity bong, but that's not the same thing. It's different, but it is the same thing, you know? It's weird. It's a weird like grayish area in my opinion. But that's not important to the story. And so I'm looking at this thing and I'm like, dude, I'm kind of scared to be honest with you. And he's like, why? And I'm like, bro, I've never hit a bong. Does it hurt? He's like, yeah, it's gonna burn, but dude, it gets you high as hell. And I'm like, I bet. And so he's like, look, you watch me do it, just do that, and then whenever it's ready, I'll pull it out, I'll pull the piece out for you, because I didn't know what I was doing. And so, I'm like, I bet. And so I, spark the lighter, and I'm just ripping that shit. And it's just bubbling, bubbling, and bubbling. It gets full, and then he pulls the piece, and I just inhale that shit, bro. And I'm just trying to hold it. He's like, hold it, hold it, hold it. Come on, hold it. And I'm like, I start coughing and I'm fucking dying. He's like, all right, give it back. And then he takes another fucking hit, bro. And right, it was a big ass fucking bowl on this fucking bong, dude. That shit was massive, all right? Fucking like the low taper fade type massive, all right? That shit was huge, dude. Holy fuck. All right. And so he takes another hit, bro. And they're like, he just takes another fatty, bro, and then he's like, all right, here you go. And I'm over here dying. I'm just, what? What? Again? What? He's like, yeah, come on. And I'm like, all right, fuck it. Why not? And at this time, I had no idea that you could have a panic attack or have any negative side effect from weed, because what they told me, right, and this is still true, was that you could not overdose on it. And so I assumed, oh shit, you can't overdose, nothing can go wrong at all. That is the furthest from the fucking truth. You can have a panic attack, you can have an anxiety attack. Those are two different things, okay? You could be allergic to it. Like, there's all sorts of shit that could happen, all right? And I didn't know this at the time. I was very uneducated in the world of drugs in general, okay? I just want to go out there and say this really quickly. I've never done any drug besides weed. I thought I got laced one time. It ended up coming back, no results. So if I was laced, it was something that did not pop up on the drug test that they did. Um, but it was probably just a panic attack. And so my bad, bro. I kind of got sidetracked this fuck there. And so he passes it back to me, and I'm like, all right, bro. And so I just start ripping, bro. I'm just like, fuck it, man. I might as well just, and I'm just ripping, right? And so I clear the piece, and and he pulls it, and he's just, and I'm just like, he's like, fuck, bro. Damn. And he's just like, holy shit, bro, you cleared it. And I'm like genuinely, I sounded like I got hit with a fucking truck, dude. Like I sounded like I was dying. I was drooling. I was coughing. And after the fact, after all the coughing and everything was done, I was already fucking gone, dude. Like, I was falling asleep standing up type high, bro. Like, I was nodding off type high. Like I wasn't actually nodding off, but like I was so high that like the way my body felt kind of put me, whenever I would close my eyes and just like zone out, I would start to fall asleep. Like, if I didn't focus on staying awake, I would have passed out. And so I look at him like, yo, dog. I'm like, holy fuck, bro. I feel like I'm vibrating and buzzing, bro. Because I had never been this type of high at this point, right? I'd gotten high, to where like, I'm giggling. I feel a little good on the inside, but I had never been high to the point, that I was. And so I look Craig in the eyes, and I'm like, yo, bro, I feel like I'm vibrating and buzzing, and like it, dude, I feel so good. And he's like, bro, you're high as fuck, dude. Like, go look in the mirror. And I'm like, I look in the mirror, bro, and I'm holy fuck, bro, my eyes are so red. And he's like, yeah, bro. And so then we're just kind of chilling there, and then, as you do when you're high, you get the munchies. And so we ended up getting the munchies, and he's like, yo, I'll go ask my stepmom if she'll take us up to Walmart. And I'm like, I bet. And so she said, yeah, give me like an hour. Okay. And so at this point, it's like 9 o'clock, 9:30 at the latest. And the Walmart in our area didn't close till like 1 a.m. They closed at some fucking weird ass time. Um, And so she's like, yeah, give me an hour. And he's like, I bet. And so then we walk back into the room and he's like, yo, you want to roll a blunt? And I'm like, yeah. And so he rolls the blunt and we just start smoking that bitch, but we're hotboxing his bedroom. We were allowed to smoke in the bedroom, which was actually really nice. And so we're just in the bedroom vibing to some music, smoking this blunt, just getting so unbelievably faded, right? And so then once we get this bitch down to the road, she's like, I throw this in the bong, we're gonna clear that and then, hang out until we leave. And so we do that. We throw the little fucking roach in the bong, we smoke that, and then we hang out for, I'd say, probably 15 minutes, right? But in these 15 minutes, I have gotten progressively more high just sitting there, okay? Not even continuing to smoke, just sitting there. I'm just like, I'm continuing to get more and more high, it feels like. And then it finally comes time for us to leave. And I'm just like, I'm so gone, dude. I can't walk in a straight line, dude. I'm obliterated. And so then we hop up in the whip, bro. And it's fucking Craig's stepmom, Craig's oldest brother, me, and Craig. And we're just chilling there. And I look at Craig's brother and I'm like, yo, let me get a cigarette. And he's like, all right, I got you. And he just gave me one. All right. I want to go out and say this: don't smoke cigarettes. Cigarettes are bad for you. Don't vape. Don't smoke anything in general. It's all bad for you. And really, it isn't worth it. It doesn't benefit anything to your life. You're wasting your fucking money on nothing. All right. And so he gives me this cigarette, and I'm just sitting there smoking it, right? And I feel like the cigarette. I feel like it might have like made the effects of the greenout essentially worse, because if you've never smoked a cigarette before or never just smoked nicotine in general before, you can get essentially a nicotine overdose. It's not an overdose, but like you get nauseous and you start to feel sick, and like it's not fun. Okay, that's another reason why I say it really isn't worth it, bro, like at all. um and so I'm just sitting there smoking a cigarette and I start to feel nauseous in my fucking stomach. Like, but it's like, when I puke, I get this taste in my mouth. It's like kind of like metal tasting. Right as I'm about to puke, I'll get that taste. And so I'm just like, my mouth isn't tasting like that. And so I'm like, all right, I'm good. I'm not going to puke. And so we keep driving, and it's just, I'm getting more and more nauseous and shit. And then we get to we get to Walmart, and we park the fucking Whippington, and we hop up out that bitch. And I'm just getting more and more nauseous. And like, it's bearable until we walk into the Walmart, right? Like I'm chilling there, walking, and I'm like, fuck, I'm kind of nauseous, but I don't say nothing yet, because I don't want to be be the pussy that like tweaks out or some shit. Even though I didn't know you could tweak out at the time, I just I didn't want to look like a fucking bitch saying that I didn't feel good. And so we enter the Walmart, and we enter the Walmart. I did it again. We enter Walmart, and the way Walmart was set up, the one we were at, you walk in the front doors, like they got two doors. They got like the food section, and then they got the like fucking whatever the other section is called, and they got the two big front doors. We walk in, the food section front door, because obviously we're high as hell. We going for food, and we walk in there, and just immediately I'm hit with this wave of nausea. Like, you're gonna puke right now. Go to the bathroom, you're gonna puke. And I look at Craig and I'm like, yo, dude, I'm about to fucking vomit. Like, right now I'm about to puke. And he shoves me. He's like, go to the bathroom. I'm just like, like, so close to puking. I can feel it fucking coming up, bro. And I'm just like trying to get to the fucking bathroom, dude. And I get to the bathroom, and I get in the bathroom and in the stall, and I'm just sitting there waiting to puke, because the nausea, it's just getting worse and worse. And then all of a sudden it just stops. Like, I no longer feel nauseous. I'm just high as fuck at that point. I feel fine, besides the fact that I'm obliterated out of my fucking mind. And I continue to sit there, because I'm like, it'll probably come back in a sec. Maybe it won't. We'll just figure out, And so, a couple minutes go by, and the door opens, and Craig is like, yo, AJ, you in there? I'm like, yeah, bro. He's like, you good? Did you puke? And I'm like, nah, bro. I got in here, and then it stopped. He's like, damn, bro, that's weird. I'm like, yeah, man, but like I don't think I'm gonna puke no more. I think I'm chilling. He's like, all right. And so I'm like, did your stepmom say anything? He's like, yeah, I told her I let you hit the blunt. And his parents, his mom, his stepmom, and his dad didn't know that like I smoked, and they knew that my mom didn't support me smoking. She had made that very clear because my siblings had suspected that I was smoking with they had suspected I was smoking with Craig before. I was never caught, actually. Like genuinely, I was never caught like smoking with Craig. But and so like Craig's mom knew that, and so did his stepmom. And I'm just like, fuck, bro. Like, what if they tell my mom? It's like, they're not gonna tell your mom. You're good. I'm like, bro, but what if they do? He's like, dude, you'll be fine. All right, trust me, you'll be fine. I'm like, all right, all right. And so then, we walk back, and she doesn't say anything about it. Besides, are you okay? And like, she looks at me, like, doesn't mention that like I hit the blunt or nothing. She's just, are you okay? And I'm like, yeah, just got a little nauseous. And she's like, all right. And that was all she said. And so we do our shopping, and we go back to Craig's house. And so we enter Craig's house, and me and Craig, we had gotten ourselves these square Tostino's pizzas, and good as fuck pizzas. Not so much anymore. They changed the recipe and they taste like chalk now, but they used to be good as fuck. And so me and Craig, well, Craig actually, because I didn't know how to operate his oven. He had a weird fucking oven. He makes the pizzas. He gives me mine. I eat it, and this is pretty much where the night ends for me. I don't remember anything after this point. I remember I ate the pizza, and that was it. Right? I remember eating the pizza, putting my plate in the sink, and then I don't remember the rest of the night. I mean, based on what I'm about to tell you, you'll understand why. And so what Craig told me happened after I went and put my fucking pizza in the sink was I went into the bedroom, laid on the bed, and literally not even 5 seconds later, I was fucking snoring asleep. Okay? Like, I was out fucking cold, all right? And I'm just like, damn, bro, for real? He's like, yeah, dude, it was insane. And I'm like, damn, bro. He's like, yeah. I'm like, how you feel though? And I'm like, I feel good. And so then I remember I walked out into the kitchen area, and Craig's mom was out there, and she looks at me. She's like, how you feeling? And I'm like, fine. She's like, did you do it again? I'm like, no, not yet, at least. And so she laughs a little bit, and she's like, all right, well, just be careful next time. And I'm like, all right, I will. And I'm still scared that she might tell my mom, and she never ended up telling my mom. Thank God for that. Shouts out to you, Craig's mom. You're a G. Um, and that's where the story comes to an end. That is all the eventful shit that happened in the story, which is why I said at the beginning I almost greened out. I consider it a green out by my standards because it's the closest I've ever come. I've never actually like greened out by most stoner standards. But yeah, that's my green out story. I hope you guys enjoyed. I do plan to upload another video tomorrow if things go to plan. Yeah, make sure to leave a like, subscribe, and comment on any feedback that you got on the video. Love feedback. I'll be trying to respond to all the comments. Yeah, peace. I just want to come in one final time and say, do not attempt anything that you heard in this story. This is all purely for entertainment purposes. Live through the bad experiences through me instead of on your own. Yeah, hope you enjoy the video. Thank you all very much. I will see y'all tomorrow.